There's people watching.
The way you say that is so funny. Today, I'm going to talk about the true cost of raising your own eggs. Because a lot of people think it's going to be cheaper to have chickens and then to raise your own healthy, fresh eggs. And the truth is, it's not cheaper at all. Not at all. Those big, huge factory farms that have a chicken every square foot and feed the cheapest food, just, and God only knows what else they give them, to just keep laying. For sure, sell those eggs cheaper in the store than what you're going to get from your farm fresh eggs. But there's such a difference in quality that there's no comparison. And when it comes to food, it's so worth spending the extra money on good quality food for yourself and for your family. I mean, people in this country really have gotten to the point where they just want the most for the cheapest food. And what ends up happening is that's such low quality food, and basically it's just carbs. You're just paying for carbs, which are pretty cheap. Paying for protein is much more expensive, and especially high quality protein. But when you eat high quality protein, you're just so much healthier. You're more vibrant, you feel better, you can be more active, you can heal health problems that you've had. It's just so worth it. And you can think about it, instead of spending like all the money you spend on doctors to try to get well, you can just kind of put that money into, eating high quality food. Your body will be nourished, it'll heal, and you'll feel better that way. So really you're just transferring money. You're not really spending more money. You're just going to move the money from doctor bills and medicines over to high quality food, and hopefully raising it yourself, which is so fun and so rewarding and so exciting, if you could use that word, because to me it is. So that's the way you have to think about it. So today we'll specifically talk about eggs though, because you know me, to me chickens are it's the gateway into homesteading, and just getting the feel for it. And they're so cute and so fun. But of course, I like to go beyond that, and some people will, and maybe some people won't, but whatever. It's still awesome to have your own chickens and to be able to have your own farm fresh eggs on a regular basis. Okay, so we're going to start with not just the food that you're going to feed the chickens, but the initial cost to getting your own farm fresh eggs. Because everybody has to consider all these things when they're thinking about getting chickens. It's not just like, oh, I want to get chickens, and you see the little chickies in the store and you can buy them right then and there, just buy them. Of course, that's easy peasy. It couldn't be easier. But it's so much more involved than that if you want success. So you have to have the investment first. Don't just go in the store and buy the little chicks, because it very well can be a big flop. And then you're going to be turned off to the fact of raising your own chickens, and you're going to be like, oh, I tried that once, it didn't work out well at all. And it's only because you weren't prepared. It's not that you don't have the ability, because for sure you have the ability. You just weren't prepared, and you didn't take the right steps in order that you needed to take to be successful with your chickens. So step one is you're going to have to get a good coop, because animals all grow so fast. You'll see a little baby animal and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so adorable. And you'll get it, and it's just, I swear, you snap your fingers, and 6 months later, it's like a full-grown adult, and you're like, whoa, it's not the cute little baby anymore. And it has different needs to contain it, because, animals have power and energy to go and travel. So the first thing you have to do is build your coop. I always recommend just build it good in the first place. Just build a wooden hen house. It's very easy. Anybody can do it. You don't even have to be able to hammer anymore. You can just have one of those drills that's like a screw gun, and just, push the button and just screw it in there. It's so easy nowadays. So, I have some plans for different hen houses and also different coops. So that'll just help you. And so there is an initial investment, but believe me, it's worth it because if you take good care of your chickens, you'll have them for years. So this isn't like putting this money out and like, oh, in 6 months, like the chickens will be gone and you wasted all that money and there it sits in the backyard. No, it's not like that. If you do it right and you put in the initial investment and you do, do it right, for 5 or 6 years, even more, you're going to be having farm fresh eggs coming in daily. Just think of that. Daily, those things are rolling in. So it's definitely worth a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to build a chicken coop. And so once you do that, you have to think about the size of your backyard, where you're going to put it. We're starting from scratch here. You got to take all that into consideration, how much room you have to, give to the chickens. Everybody's yard is different. Everybody's area is different. So you have to think about that and determine it because chickens need more room than you think. And I always say it's better to have 4 chickens laying eggs every single day for the next 6 years than it is to have 20 chickens that you're feeding and you're getting 5 eggs a day or 3 eggs a day or whatever, hit and miss, and you're feeding all those animals because that's what I'm going to get to next is what you're feeding them and what that costs. So the key is you have to be efficient because what you feed them, you want to get a return. So it's like getting this little machine going is what it's like. So you have to get all the little parts right. Then you'll have great success. Okay, so determine all that, build your coop, build your whole coop, build your hen house, build your wire run. All that's very easy. And truly anybody can do it. You do not need big skills to do that. You just need directions of how to do it, and then you can do it, believe me. All right, so the next part we're going to talk about is going to be food and what you're going to have to feed your chickens to get those eggs rolling in steady. And that's very important because there's a lot of different foods out there you can feed chickens. And the funny thing is, chickens are not picky. It's like raising a hog or having a pig. Really, anything you throw out there, they'll eat. But that doesn't mean they're going to lay consistently. You're not going to get a lot of eggs. Like I said, they're not picky. They'll eat whatever. So you're thinking, well, they're eating good. I'm feeding them good. They should be laying. Why aren't they laying? And it's because it's what they need in order to produce the eggs, which is protein, animal protein. So basically, I'll just say meat because that's what it is. And that's what they need to lay regularly. So you're going to have to, and they need fat too. So, because it takes a lot to make feathers and eggs, both, especially regularly. And what their body will do is, if they only have so much nutrition, they're going to put that to their feathers, not to laying eggs. So they'll stop laying eggs to maintain their feathers. So you have to feed them enough food of the right kind for them to take care of their feathers and make eggs. So just think about how much that takes from that little bird, which isn't that big. So it's all in what you feed them. And what you're going to feed them, isn't that cheap. That's the thing. So you're not going for quantity necessarily. You have to think about quality. And that's what I tell people. They'll be like, well, how much does it cost to feed those chickens or whatever? And I'm always like, it's not about, quantity or price. It's about quality that I want for me and my family. I want high quality. And we all know in life, high quality things cost a little more than cheap stuff that you can get for $1 or whatever. So you have to think of it that way. So you can buy bagged chicken food, and they'll call it laying crumbles, laying pellets, and they also have this scratch, they call it, which is just a bunch of seeds and cracked corn and stuff. I don't feed any of that stuff to my chickens. And In the beginning, I did until I learned, and got more experience. And I have it down pat now, and I gotta just pass that on to you because I have it down. I'm gonna prove it. And I have 2 more in my refrigerator. And let me just think, I think I have 5 hens laying. And it just is nonstop. That's the thing. It's just nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. And believe me, I eat a lot of eggs. I make hard-boiled eggs, deviled eggs. I give them to my sons, and I'm so loaded down now because, excuse me, I haven't seen my son James to give him eggs. And so I'm like, oh, I gotta get rid of some of these eggs. You get to the point, but they're so high quality, I'm not gonna just waste them or anything. So funny. And I have 2 more of those in my refrigerator. This one's not quite full. Scott's opening them. Let me see. I had to get this extra one yesterday but today there'll be more in there, so it'll be full soon. But when you have like a lot of eggs, it's awesome. Let me close this good. Okay, so people give me these styrofoam egg containers because I give eggs away, and so I get those in return. They give them back to me. Okay, so what I want to tell you is the food. We're talking about the food. So I don't feed any of those bagged commercial chicken feeds. What it does is it basically just feeds them. You will get an egg hit and miss here and there, but if there's any stress in the coop or there's any little illness they have to fight, like that food just isn't nutritious enough to keep them laying and to, they're like us. They have an immune system and things are in the world. So, they're constantly fighting stuff and stress as well when they're living in a coop and they're in the world. So that just doesn't cut it. Believe me, it just doesn't cut it. And some people might be like, well, I feed mine that and they lay. And yes, chickens lay pretty good for the first 2 years. That's the good part. While you're gaining your experience and learning things and ironing things out, you probably will be getting pretty good production. But if you want to go beyond that, that's when I get lots of emails. And sometimes it's just like a year in, not even 2 years in. They'll be like, oh, my chickens were laying and they completely stopped. Like, what happened? And that's when the nutrition comes into play. So better just to know about the nutrition from the get-go, and then you won't have that big cutoff point and be like, what happened, So it's all about the food. So what I do is I have my own chicken mix that I make, and it's a recipe. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. So if you want to get a pen or a paper, you can just write this down and keep it. Or it's in my book, and it's also on my website if you forget. So the key to this recipe is, I've found, it just gives them the nutrients they need all winter so they don't stop laying. A lot of people will say chickens will stop laying eggs in the winter. Okay, so the recipe's in this book. Scott just handed it to me. So, it's just written in here. So whatever, you'll never forget it if you get the book. You can just have it nearby and be like, look it up. What was that recipe? But if you want to go through the videos, I have, if you have the time, you just want to go through there, you can find it too. Which I have so many there now. I'm just like, oh, I can't even find what I'm looking for sometimes. Okay, so what I was going to say is the mix I have feeds the chickens so well, they will lay eggs all winter long. And a lot of people will say they stop laying eggs in the winter because of the light. Well, let me tell you something. That isn't true. Because the reason they stop laying eggs in the winter is because of the nutrition. When the bird is cold, have you ever gone camping? It's like when you live outside and it's cold, you're more hungry. You're like starving when you go camping or whatever you do outside. And especially the colder it gets, the more hungry it gets and you need more calories. So that's why the birds quit laying eggs in the winter and in the cold, is because they don't have enough calories to keep their bodies warm, and they also grow in more down. So there's even more feathers to take care of. And they're burning more calories just to stay warm and survive. So there's not extra calories to make an egg. So they just quit laying eggs. It's all to, protect their body and live. They don't care about the egg right now. So if you feed them right and you feed them my chicken mix, they will lay eggs in the winter. So this is what I do. I get, basically they're a garbage can, but they're made for feed. So you can get one of those. And, it's like not a small garbage can, one of those old fashioned round ones that have the lid. It's like that. And so get one of those and go to the feed store and tell them you want a 50-pound bag of whole corn. Then you can go get black oil sunflower seeds. So I don't think those come in a 50-pound bag.
40.
Yeah, a little bit smaller. And so then you're going to go get a bag of oats. It's so funny. They love those oats. I don't know why. If I run out of the oats and I don't give them the oats for a while, I'm like, oh, they don't need them. But I swear, as soon as I put them in there, they're like, oh, like oats! And they'll like eat those things up. So you're going to do the whole corn, the black sunflower seeds, and you're going to do the oats. And so mix it in there like this much corn, and then do this much oats. And then I do a little bit less of the black sunflower seeds, just because I don't want to waste those. So I'll put, half of the layer. And then what I'll do is I'll put diatomaceous earth in there. And I will, you can wear a mask if you want to, but just be careful. And churn all that up. Mix all that up so it's all mixed up in there really good. If you're a really busy person and you have a job and you work, and you just have to have it convenient. You want chickens, but it needs to be convenient because you're a busy person. You can get some high quality cat kibble or high quality, and I always say get grain free because you're already feeding them enough. You don't need more grain filler in the cat food or the puppy chow. You can use puppy chow too. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the same amount of that as you do this black sunflower seeds. And so you're going to put about that much in there. And you're just going to mix all that up. Now, if it's winter time and it's more cold, I'm going to put more cat chow in there, cat kibble. Or, you can do mealworms. They just have to have meat every day. So I'm saying this recipe for people that need convenience. And they just have to just do the scoop and feed the chickens. So do that. Okay, so don't forget the diatomaceous earth. So what I'll do is that'll be about halfway, and then I will do the diatomaceous earth, and I'll do like just an absolute flat cup in there, 1 cup, and then I'll just mix all that up really, really, really well, and then I'll start again with the layers. I'll do a layer of corn, a layer of oats, a smaller layer of the black sunflower seeds, and a smaller layer of the cat kibble. And do the diatomaceous earth again and mix that up. And that'll last. And then I just put the scoop in there, whatever size scoop, depending on how many chickens you have. You'll figure that out. You want to feed them enough twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. You want to feed them enough to where they're full. They're not eating anymore. So you got to stand out there and just do handfuls or whatever until you figure that out, the proper amount. And adjust that according to how many chickens you have. And that big container lasts a long time, and it's super convenient. And believe me, when you have animals and a homestead to run, you want to make things as convenient as you can. Also, you have to make double, triple sure they always have a big thing of water at all times. So I get this black Rubbermaid, I think it is, or some kind of animal manufacturer makes it, tub. It's about this big around. I don't know if you can see. About this big around, and it's about this deep. So they actually jump on the side of it to drink out of it. They don't stand on the ground and reach because it's, about this deep, but it holds a lot of water, and they can grip onto the side of that so well because it's actually pretty thick rubber. And the reason I do the deeper one, number one, it lasts a really long time. Like if I go away or whatever, that's so much water in there. And the second thing is the weight of the water holds that heavy rubber tub in place, so it'll never tip over or anything. And they love it. I swear they love it. They jump up on the side and get their drink. It's like they gather around the water cooler. It's so funny. So that's how I do the water. So make sure they have plenty of water. And you have to keep that really, really clean. I keep mine in the blazing sun because if you keep it in the shade, bugs will crowd around it and mosquitoes will lay their eggs in it, and it just gets actually more nasty in the shade. And that's where chicken viruses and chicken diseases spread, is through your waterer. That is the #1 place. So make sure you give them plenty of water, but you also have to keep it clean and, not, like if you're standing out there and you look over, you'll see like mosquitoes and bugs flying over it. That's really not what you want to see. You might have to move your water to a different spot, more out to the end of the wire run in the light to prevent that. And so whichever, it gives the chickens exercise to walk around and get stuff. So, okay, so I want to ask you, any questions?
Yes, we have questions. So the first one is, several people are wondering, is diatomaceous earth food or is it medicine? Or like they're kind of confused about that.
Okay, look it. I have a thing of diatomaceous earth right there in that mason jar, and I'll show you what it is. It's a wormer. I worm every animal on my farm with diatomaceous earth. It's not a chemical. It's food grade.
But it's not food. You gotta explain that.
Yeah, it's not food. It's a wormer. I think
Medicine.
people know a wormer is not food.
I'm asking.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you. It's powder. I'm gonna get a little bit. It's like super, super fine powder. Like it can be, can you see the little dusty moving from my fan? It's super fine. It is like such fine powder. It's unbelievable. And then what it does, it has a very strong drying effect. And that's how it kills the larva, which is the eggs, the worm eggs, and the worms that are in the body of the animal. Is it actually is a one cell. So you can imagine how tiny that is. It's tiny. You can't even see one cell. And it's a skeleton. So it's like calcium, whatever a skeleton's made out of, bones. And so that's what it is. And how it works is insects only, not people or animals, insects only have a barrier around their body that holds in the moisture for them. And if you slit that or cut that or damage that anyway, the bug dries out and dies. And it's the same way with the egg, the little tiny egg larva. And if you think about it, they look moist, it all looks moist. And what it does is it dries them out and they die. So it's not like a chemical wormer that poisons them and boom, they're dead. This takes a little bit longer because obviously it doesn't dry out like in the snap of your fingers, but it just slowly just like starts to dehydrate and dies out. And like, can you see, like I can tell my skin like feels drier just putting it on there like that, but it doesn't hurt you. Like it's completely fine because it's not a chemical.
We got a $5 super chat from Kimberly.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Kimberly says, Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, how sweet. What I say to my friends is every day is Mother's Day. Because I don't know, I see my kids. They're like 2 grown men. I see them, I'm just like, my babies. That never goes away, I swear. It's so funny. Of course, they don't want to be treated like that, I don't think, but I can't help it.
Maddie asks, when do we need to open the door for the chickens in the morning?
So here's the question. Is it to open the door to let them into their wire run? Or are you saying open the door to let them out to free range? Because, I personally never let my chickens out every day to free range. First of all, they turn into brats because they turn wild faster than you think, and they'll go farther and farther away. And pretty soon you'll look over and they're like in the neighbor's yard, or they're like way in the woods. I mean, they definitely get bratty if you let them out too much to free range. Also, they'll start just laying their eggs wherever because they'll be like way over there in the woods And I don't know if they're too stupid to walk back to the hen house and lay it in the nest box, or maybe they're just too lazy and they don't want to. So they'll find a little spot in the woods to lay their eggs. And you're just like, I have chickens for eggs, so I don't let them out to free range every day like that. Believe me, I have in the past, so that's how I know they'll turn into brats. And sometimes, if you do it too often, like every day, they won't even come home to roost in the coop anymore. They'll like be out in the woods and see a tree and be like, oh, let's just go up there and sleep. Because, their wildness takes over and that's what they want to do. So you can, I think that's the cat climbing up there. So you can, let them out in the evening to free range where it's just enough time for them to get exercise, pick around, and then they will go back in the coop to roost. Or if you have a coop like mine where they can just come and go as they want. It's like a cabana coop where it's 3 sides of wood. It's like this way. I'll do it your way so you can see. It's 3 sides of wood. And then the front side is just the wood goes down except for like this far. Well, enough for me to go under, so more than that. I'll leave a gap like from the ground, to the wood. And that way, and then the run is going this way as well. So they can jump down off their roost and just go out into the coop themselves. Because there's that gap where there's no wood or no door. That's how I have my coop. That's the perfect design. And they just jump down and go out in the run themselves. And I have the water at the end of the run down here. And then I have the hen house back here under a big shade tree. So the chickens can hang out. My hen house is big enough. They can hang out under the big tree in the dark shed in their cabana style hen house, which is a sand floor. And then they can still see everything, through that gap of no wood all the way across. Like the siding just comes down so far. They love it. Works great. They seem so happy like that, and they're self-sufficient like that because the only thing I have to do, I don't have to like lock them in at night or anything. I just feed them, I just have to keep the water clean and feed them and collect the eggs. And it makes it super convenient, safe, and happy.
We got a message from our channel member, Amber.
Thank you, Amber.
And Amber says, good morning, Becky. Happy Mother's Day.
Is it today? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Creative Chica says they bought a refrigerator just for all their eggs.
Ah, it's so funny. I know. Once you get it going, once you get it down pat, it's so funny how you think, oh, 4 chickens, that's not going to be enough eggs. But the funny thing people don't realize is those eggs are coming every single day. They're just rolling in. And, if you just have a gap, you don't feel like eggs for a little while. It's like you start to get buried in them. And, they're so awesome. You don't want to waste them. So that's why I give them away to my friends and my family.
We got a $20 super chat from Amber.
Amber, thank you. You're so sweet and so nice.
It's just the emoji of star eyes and hair flying back.
Oh, that's so cute. So cute. Look at that. So adorable. So cute. So anyway, the cost of all that food, I want to get back to that, the cost of the eggs. The cost of all that food, it's going to vary depending on where you live. It's going to be, I don't want to say pricey because I don't feel like it's pricey. And I'm a very frugal person. To me, it's so worth it. Like, I am super frugal. Like 90% of my stuff I will get, from a thrift store or, I'll just see it somewhere and get it for pennies. I'm very, very frugal, but, I don't think the chicken food's too expensive. For one, it lasts such a long time. And then once you get used to those high quality eggs, nothing else will do. You will not even want to go out to breakfast in a restaurant because you will eat the eggs and you'll be like, oh my God, it's so disappointing.
These substandard eggs.
And, we used to love, like that used to be one of our favorite meals to go out would be to get breakfast. And, some years ago, it was like the cheapest meal. So if you were frugal, instead of going out for dinner, you could go out for breakfast. But I've noticed breakfast prices have come up, and it's almost like breakfast is just as expensive as dinner, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. So your eggs are such good quality that it's so worth it to spend the money on the food.
Okay, we got some questions.
Okay.
So
shut up.
So only the best. First they said that imagine how many chicken lives Becky has saved from clueless owners.
Oh, I know. I feel bad for the chickens. I know. It's true because especially when they're little, they're very delicate and they will die pretty easy. And then if you overcrowd them, they're so miserable. They are finicky, funny little birds.
And then only the best wants to know about apple cider vinegar. Like, how do you give it to the chickens? What's it for?
Okay, that's a really good question. I will use apple cider vinegar sometimes, and this is when you're going to need it. When you're a beginner and you're, figuring all this stuff out, don't be too hard on yourself because you're learning and you're doing your best. So don't be afraid to make adjustments either. That is the number one key. So what the apple cider vinegar comes in handy for is if your bird gets sour croup. And what that is they eat and their food goes right here in this pouch. And you can see it because it's like a bulge. By the end of the day, if they eat a lot, it's just full. And what happens, and then it moves from there into their gizzard. And their gizzard is where they grind it up. So that's why they need the grit and the crushed oyster shells. They for sure need that. Okay, but sometimes that croup gets impacted. It's just too full. It's just, too big. And it'll get impacted. Well, of course they're miserable then. It's like having heartburn for us, like wicked heartburn. And so what you have to do if you see a chicken like that and it's struggling and not doing well, you can just tell, pull it out, put it in the cage. And what you do is don't feed it for 2 days. People are going to be like, oh, that's so mean. It isn't mean because it's already packed, stuffed, and clogged. So it's not mean at all. And what you want to do is always have water in front of it, of course. And that's when you put the apple cider vinegar in the water. And that just helps it just start breaking that down. And sometimes they'll be so uncomfortable and so miserable, like they won't even want that apple cider vinegar, maybe not quite get enough of it. So what I'll do is the second day, I will get some bread and I'll soak it in that apple cider vinegar water and offer it to the bird. And sometimes they'll take it that way, And so just leave it there in that cage, just giving it, no food for 2 days. And then just see if that goes down. And you'll be able to tell because that croup will get smaller and smaller. And plus the chicken will be looking better. It'll start like looking around, for food and stuff. And then sometimes in the summer, the hot summer, I'll clean their big water tub out really well. And then I'll fill it up with, clean water. And then I'll put since my tub is so big, you can put like a half a cup of apple cider vinegar in there. And that's kind of just for whatever reason. That's not because they're sick or not doing well. That's just to give them a little because, the apple cider vinegar is good for them. It's good for everybody.
C Likes #1 says, congratulations on 400,000 subs. When is the next episode of Chicken Checkup coming out?
Oh, I didn't know I got that many. I did look before. I was like, I'm getting close. So thank you. We have one in, what do they call it, in the box?
In the can.
In the can. We have one in the can. We just have to do a little bit of voiceover on that, and then we're going to put that out. So we're very close to that.
I was thinking, too, if we put it out like in the past couple months, people would be like, oh, what are you doing out during this?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, should we put a disclaimer in the front?
Well, the funny thing is, around here where we live, it's so rural. Everybody's rural. Everybody's tough country people. And everybody is just out and about doing their thing. Like everybody's in the stores just living their life because we already social distance. That's why we're in the country, because we don't want to be near people. So that's how
A lot of people are saying where to buy Diatomaceous earth.
Okay, so let me tell you where to buy. Oh, we just had ours come in.
The link is in the description.
Yes, the link is always in the description. Scott puts the link in the description. And it's on my website in the little section that says Becky's Favorites. And you can click that and go through a few things and you'll see the Diatomaceous earth. I've used the same kind for, it's in the barn now. We literally just got a new bag in yesterday and I took it to the barn. But mine, the kind I use, I say mine because that's the kind I use all the time, is fresh water, food grade diatomaceous earth. And I've used the same kind for like 10 years or I don't even know how long, forever. Just because they're so consistent, they ship so good, they're just awesome to deal with, you know what I mean? Never had a problem with them. So that's why I use them. And it is a 10-pound bag and it lasts me probably, I'm gonna say for a year at least. And I do all my animals, which you guys know I have horses, which are big animals, which use a little more than chickens. But I do my dogs, I do everything, the cat. I've even given a little to my turtle once, a few times, to deworm my turtle. So, you know, it doesn't go bad. If you keep it in some kind of a container, outside I have it in a plastic container. Let me have that plastic container right there. But was that the turtle food, old turtle food container? This one isn't quite big enough. I have one bigger than this, but if you can have containers something like this, it works perfect and you could store it in there literally for 100 years. Like no, it wouldn't go bad. So I have one bigger than this. This was back when I was eating gluten. I had like animal crackers that I would snack on and also give to my animals for treats. And so it's like, you know, those huge ones that you get at Sam's Club, it's really big. But it's, you know, has a big opening like this, so you can put a little scoopy cup in there. That, and you can just store it, like I said. So it is a little bit of an investment at first, but to deworm your animals naturally without using chemicals is amazing. They just look so good. They just look good.
So from Honey Kafina, Krista, and It's Just How We Roll, they all want to know, what do you do about a broody hen?
People, nothing. People ask me that all the time. There's nothing you can do. It's maternal. There's nothing you can do.
So, okay, let me see.
There's nothing you can do. You have to just leave it alone. Just go collect your eggs every day. And if she's in that box for a couple days, just try to like shoo her out of there. Just be like, move. Some chickens are more broody than others. Some hens, they'll never go broody. And then others, like there's certain breeds that it seems to like, you know, are more broody than others. And others, it's just bred out of them for whatever reason. So, you know, just get them out of the box after a couple of days and just make sure you collect your eggs every day and whatever, just leave them alone. Let them be their self. Just let them be their self. Don't worry about it. People worry about it. It's like, don't worry about it. Just leave them alone. There's no eggs in there. It passes, you know. It's just whatever time of the year, springtime, they're just like, oh, I feel like sitting on eggs and having some babies. So they're too stupid to know, oh, we don't even have a rooster. They're not even fertile eggs. They don't know that. They just have that urge to raise babies. Or if you have a rooster and they are fertile eggs, but you just don't want them to have chicks, you know what I mean? You're like, no, not now. And you just have to get the eggs away from them. And then if they sit in the box all day, it doesn't hurt anything. You know, you might be worried, oh, they're not eating and drinking. But like I said, after a couple days, if they're not smart enough to get down their own self, just get them out of there. Another thing, when they do sit on eggs, though, they go 7, 8, 9 days without eating. A long time. The chickens will stay in there and not eat or drink for a long time. So believe me, a couple days does not hurt the bird, you know, the hen, the broody hen.
Fred says, love from Pakistan. Love watching all your very informative videos.
Hi, Fred. I'm glad you enjoy them. I'm so happy to hear that, honestly.
It's Just How We Roll says, I'm behind the times. Are they still in Florida or have they moved already?
We haven't moved already. We are in the process of moving. So, you know, we have the septic people coming. We've already met with them. Some tree people, we've already met with them because there's a couple trees that we have to take down because we need a wide driveway to fit my cabin through. So we're like looking at the property, like where are we gonna, you know, do this, the best place to do this, to like, because it's a very narrow little tiny country road, and so to be coming down that and have to make the turn you know, it has to be plenty big enough to make the swing to get my cabin up in there. So we've already had an appointment with some tree people that are gonna do some work for us. And then after that's all done, we get the septic in, we get the driveway right. The next step we'll do are the foundation people. We'll meet with them. So, you know, and you can't rush that. It just happens when it happens. So, like everybody, all the men, all the people are on schedules and have, you know, other customers. So it's not like we're like, hurry up, we want to go first. You can't be like that.
Jana says, when can you assimilate young chickens with the adults? I have one snarky hen and 3 2-month-old chicks.
Okay, Jenna. Well, let me assure you, it's tricky to get them together. You can do it. Number one, make double, triple sure your coop is plenty big. They're not going to like be chummy friends. That never happens with chickens, ever. They're never where you put new ones in there and they're like, hey, meet my new friend. They're like, they're mean. They're always mean because there's a clear pecking order with chickens. So I always say, to be on the safe side, wait until the babies are about the same size as the chickens that you have, the adult chickens that you have. Also, with experience, people will learn different breeds match up better and mix better than other breeds. So some breeds have a calm temperament. They're friendly, sweet, calm birds. Other breeds have a feisty temperament. Well, those two don't mix well because the feisty birds will always pick on the other sweet birds. And so you have to just figure that out and learn that the hard way. Some people, like, you know, they won't know. They'll just be like, oh, I like those and I like those. And they'll get them. And they're just like, they're always fighting and stressed out and not getting along. And the reason being is you picked two different completely, you know, characteristics in their personalities in the two different breeds. So the one cure for that, though, is make sure it's plenty big. And if you need to, add on to the wire run. Make the wire run bigger. That's at least your starting point. You know, they might not be happy going to bed together on the roost, and you might have to have a roost on this side of the coop and a roost on this side of the coop so they can separate. But start with having plenty of room. That way, when the more aggressive personality breeds are picking on the timid ones, at least the timid ones have room to run away. There's room. And, you know, that helps. That helps. So don't ever put little tiny babies in a chicken coop with adults, especially if there's no mama hen there. If there is a mama hen, she will protect her babies. But if you just buy them from the store and you think you're just going to put them in there, it's like, no, they'll kill them. They will for sure kill them, even if they're fully feathered. So
we got a $5 super chat from John.
Thank you, John.
And John says, thank you for your wonderful videos.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you like them. So I was telling her, and again, my book has all those questions. All these questions people are asking are in my book. That's what I put in here because there's so many beginner questions that you don't know, and you're just like, oh, what do I do? And this little thing came up. So, you know, I try to answer all those main questions in my book. And it's just something like when I first started out, I'd be like, oh, I wish I had that. Because yes, there is information on the internet, but when you're kind of upset and something's going wrong, it's hard to sit down on the computer and start trying to like search for what you're looking for. Like I tell people, it's like which I went to Lowe's yesterday. I was looking for some very specific things, and thank God this nice man, Lowe's man, helped me, because I would have been in that store for 6 hours trying to find all the little bits and pieces I needed. And thankfully, he was a knowledgeable employee, and he would take me right to everything I needed. I was just like, I told him, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I would be in this store for days if it wasn't for you. And it's kind of like that when you're having a very specific problem and you're just trying to look for the answer. You know, yes, you can. I could have wandered around Lowe's looking for all the bits and pieces I wanted, but it's so frustrating and time consuming. Or if you have somebody to help you, you can just find it fast. So that's what I like in my book too. You know what I mean? If you're having a problem, you can just like quickly find it and go solve the problem. It just makes your life so much happier.
So we got a question from Claude.
Okay, Claude.
Why do my chickens just stay in the coop? Do they have the blues?
No, chickens don't have the blues. Chickens are actually pretty spunky animals, so they're either feeling threatened. Do they have a wire run? I don't get all the full information, so it's hard to tell. But, you know, there's a hen house, and then there is a wire run. Those two together make the coop. So when you say they don't come out of the coop, you know, you're trying to let them free range and they don't want to come out. Or are you meaning they're hiding in the hen house and they don't want to come out? You know, there's a reason why. They're either intimidated, something stalks them at night and they know it's out there and they're just too afraid to come out. Or I don't have enough information to answer that. I don't know how.
Stacy says, I just started watching. I'm behind. Where can I get your book?
Scott, my grown son, we do this together. And he's the technical support part. You know, he does all that hard part. So he always puts a link in every description of the videos we do. He'll put links down there of whatever we're talking about, things you can purchase or whatever. So you can click the link and then you can like see the book, you know, see what it looks like. You can see the price and see if you want to buy it. And then if you do, I think it just takes you right there. You can if you want to. So that's always in the link in the description. That's where it's going to be. Or I have a website, beckishomestead.com, and we have a store there where you can go and you can purchase some of the other, you know, I have different books, but you can purchase it there as well. So that's, I guess, you know, to me that doesn't sound easy because I'm just not like a super like tech savvy person at all. Thank God for Scott. He does all that because, oh, that stuff just...
Emily says, what age do Rhode Island red chickens start laying eggs?
Hi, Emily. Rhode Island Reds are a heritage breed, so they take a little bit longer to start laying eggs than a, they'll call it a hybrid breed, which is basically kind of like a mixed breed. So I always say give them 10 months. Like there's no hurry. They start laying when they start laying. So they will take a little bit longer than a hybrid breed, but trust me, they will start laying. If you take good care of them, they'll start laying. Just be patient and make sure you have a little nest box for them. And, you know, you'll see them. They'll kind of start getting in that nest box, or they'll stand on the ground and they'll be like looking in the nest box, you know. You can kind of see it coming.
Kangaroo says, thank you so much. You've given my husband tons of helpful tips with our first flock.
Well, I'm so glad I could help Kangaroo. Honestly, that just makes me so happy. I just hope you have great success and enjoy all your farm fresh eggs. You'll get to share them with all your friends and family and they'll just love you. Hopefully they'll start getting chickens too and they can learn how to do them.
Keza says, how many chickens do you have?
Well, right now, I'm down to a number I love to have. I don't like to have too many chickens because, like I said, I'm a minimalist. So I have 5 hens, and one of my hens is, like, older. So, you know, she still lays, though, and we don't eat our older hens. We just keep them. Like, by this time, it's a pet. I mean, after you've had it, like, 6 years, you know, and they still eat bugs, which I love. So they eat bugs in my yard, so, you know. I call them the bug brigade once they're retired and they don't lay eggs anymore. So I have 5. And for me, that's the perfect amount. I eat a lot of eggs. I give eggs away. And if you can take really good care of 4 or 5 chickens and keep them laying, you will just have nonstop eggs every single day. So let me just look at this right here. I didn't get my eggs for 2 days. And so I went out yesterday and I got 7 eggs from my 5. And like what I said, one's older, so she doesn't lay as often. So, and And none of these are her eggs. I can tell which ones are hers. So I got, out of 4 hens, I got 7 eggs.
That's when you know you're a chicken mama, when you know whose egg is whose.
You get used to who lays what. Okay, so, and like, I don't eat that many eggs, so that's why I end up giving them away. So just don't get too many and take good care of them.
Leah says, hello from Slovenia.
Oh, hi, Leah.
And Leah says, if you have a broody hen, are you supposed to put them by themselves?
No. Just leave her alone. First of all, broody is nothing. All broody is she just feels like sitting on a clutch of eggs. That's all it is. It's just a feeling she has. So, people, you can't make that go away. You can't get that feeling out of her. It's going to happen in the spring. It's going to happen from time to time. Some hens are more broody than others. And so you got to just go with it. Just go with it.
Jennifer says that when her hen free ranges, she has to be the bodyguard and lets her eat, drink, do a dust bath, and then go back.
I'm sure she loves that. They're so funny, aren't they? They love that dust bath, though. They almost like, sometimes if you keep them somewhere where they can't have a dust bath for a long time and you let them out, that's the first thing they'll do. They won't go start eating. They'll like run over there and get in the dust bath and just lounge and just get all dirty. They're so funny.
We got a $1.99 super chat from Linda and Tony.
Thank you, Linda and Tony.
And they said, can you use human apple cider vinegar? Is that okay?
Oh, yes, you can, for sure. There's no such thing as animal and human. It's like apple cider vinegar. Like maybe the label they stick on the bottle is different, but like whatever. It's like, yes, we just use ours if we use it for the animals.
Big VISK says, how much room do chickens need? Some people say 2 to 5 square feet per bird.
I like to say, I need my phone to do the square footage though. Okay, so like this right here, minimum.
4 square feet.
What'd you say, that's 4?
That's 4 square feet.
Okay.
Wow, yeah.
Minimum. Like that is, you got to take good care of them and make sure if it's in with another one, like they really get along well, like get a timid breed. So the more room you can give them, the better. So, my coop, somebody just asked how many chickens I have. So right now I have 7 because I have my big rooster Dum Dum in there too. And my coop is 10 feet wide and 40 feet long. So the hen house is 10 foot by 10 foot. And I'm not kidding. They will live in there for years, so happy and healthy. I will never have a problem. And the eggs just roll in nonstop. So that's why I tell people, make the coop as big as you can, according to the size of your yard. You won't regret it, really. You don't have to make the hen house, the actual hen house doesn't need to be 20 by 20 like it's a cabin for a person. But the run itself, the bigger you make it, the better. Because exercise is healthy for everybody. So,
Tracy says, how do you keep your cat from killing your chickens?
Hey, Tracy. My cat doesn't kill my chickens. And I don't know if anybody has a cat that would kill a chicken. A chicken is pretty big. And so, I don't know. Maybe people do have a cat that kills a chicken. I've had different cats and I've never had them kill, an adult chicken. Of course, when they're smaller, I did have my cat grab a tiny, tiny little chicken that I bought. And I thought he was just going to sniff it because it's a pretty good cat. And I was right there. And that stinker grabbed that little chickie baby and ran into the woods with it. I'm like running after it, yelling, goes into the thick woods, which isn't that easy to run through. And finally, he came back and I was like, looking for that chicken and I couldn't find it. He probably ate that thing. It was like tiny little chicken. I was so mad at him, but I was mad at myself for letting him sniff it. So if you have a little tiny one, don't let your cat sniff it. It might bite it. But he doesn't even look at my big chickens. He'll be laying on the steps of the porch and the chicken will be right there next to it. He doesn't even look at it. Any of them.
You want to do show and tell of this?
I would. I like to do that. I'm going to show you what I bought. This is the perfect Homestead thing to have. First, I'll
box up and tell them why you bought it.
This is a little Coleman cooker. I like to have different ways of cooking, just in case. We do live in Florida. We do have hurricanes and the power goes out and stuff. And so I read about different kinds. So I have a propane gas grill, a small one. Like I said, I'm a minimalist. So I have a small one. That's nice. I do have an electric griddle for when I go camping. Sometimes there's electric at the campsites, so you can plug it in and, you know, make a breakfast or whatever. But I also considered having a small, just want a one burner one. That's all I need. And so I considered doing the propane, the small propane ones, which is one burner, but it stands up this way. And then the burner's on the top. But I just don't like how tall those are, kind of tipsy. So then I found this Coleman one. I don't know, when it's on the table, can they see it?
No, you gotta hold it up.
Okay. What I love about this one is it's lower to the ground, very sturdy. It's kind of heavy, it won't tip over. But this is a dual fuel, which I love that. You have options. You can purchase the fuel that they make for this, which I'm assuming, I don't want to say what kind of oil it is. I don't want to say it's kerosene oil, but it could be. I don't know what it is. And you put that in there. Or, listen to this, gasoline. Is that amazing? So it can use either gasoline or the oil. So I'm going to buy a bottle of the oil that they recommend. But what I like about that is, you know, pretty much you can always cook no matter what. Some person said you can always siphon some gasoline out of your car and you can cook. I also like campfire cooking too, though. So I do like a variety of ways. But let's face it, this is the most handy. It's so portable, so easy, and I do go horse camping all the time. And like I said before, when you're staying outside, you are so hungry. Comes with this little tiny funnel that filters the gasoline when you put gas in here. So it comes with that, but this is so tiny to pack. And you can just see if there was like a hurricane and I didn't have any power for a long time, I could just cook on this so fast. I think you have to tip it, Scott, because I want to show them.
You gotta hold it up.
I want to show the little pot and how it sits on there.
You gotta hold it up. We got a $9.99 super chat from Amber.
Oh, Amber, you're so sweet. Thank you.
And she puts the pear Superman flying.
That's so funny.
And then Amber says that she loves camping.
I love camping. I went to a flea market in Jacksonville and I saw this and I got this for $10. And the person I was with wanted it. I'm like, too bad, I got it. Is this cute? It's enamel. It's enamel cast iron. But what I love about this is it's double duty. So the lid is a little tiny frying pan. Is that cute? Because, you know, you got to make our eggs in the morning. And then this part is the little pot that you could make. I don't know. What I think about is like bringing canned, like bush beans and putting hot dogs in it, boiling up some rice and putting a can of salmon or tuna in it, or canned chicken, stuff that you don't really need a cooler or anything when you go camping. And then you could just, you know, cook on it. And it fits. Scott wants me to hold it up, but I can't hold it up.
Here comes the tool.
Look, it fits on there just perfect. I am tickled. I can finally use this little.
So where can people find that burner?
And so, wait, I'm not done yet.
Just tell them.
You can find that on my website, and then you have to click on Becky's favorites.
And there's a link in the description.
And a link in the description. And to go with that are these titanium sporks. Scott got this one for him first, because he likes to camp and hike too. And I'm like, I don't like that. It's like a baby spoon to me. It's like a little short handle, you know, like a little infant spoon. You're teaching your kids how to cook. I'm like, I want one with a longer handle. So I got this one with a longer handle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the, I got to show you something, 1 second. I'm going to get one that's just a spoon as well, so you can stir better with it. I'm having a little issue over here. Something's after me. I'm going to show you what it is. It's my Daisy. Look at her. She's so funny. She's
10 pounds of
growing.
trouble.
She's growing
Hold her good.
so big. I got her. She doesn't struggle with me. She knows mommy has her. She's gotten so big. The other day I weighed her and she weighs, because I'm like, I think she weighs more than Mario. And because Mario used to weigh 8 pounds exactly. I know, you're flying. You don't like that. Her legs are so big and fat and heavy. You're such a fat girl. She's loose right now. She was in my closet, way in the back of my closet. And she came out here because she hears me and she wants to eat. You don't feel confident? So I weighed her and she weighs 7 pounds, 4 ounces. She almost weighs as much as the Chihuahua. Look how healthy she looks. She's just such a good girl. She grows bigger and bigger every year. Oh, Daisy, I'm going to put you down. I know it.
She's like, I don't like it.
She's like, Mommy, I don't like it. She trusts me, though. She
She
totally trusts me. Go here. I'm going to give her to you. Unclip your mic and go put her in her little tub because she's got food in there, and plug that light in for her.
Give me the baby.
It's heavy. Watch out.
Give me the baby.
She is so funny. I don't know. I love that turtle. It's so funny the way she comes out to me, though. She just walks around the house. She knows what she wants, though. You wouldn't think a turtle has a personality, but she definitely has a personality, and it's almost like a spoiled little brat personality. She knows how to get what she wants. But if you don't take them out in the sunshine, you have to like give them this light, which helps them digest their food. So anyway, when we move, I'm going to build like an on-the-ground veranda with a little tiny wall around it so I can let Daisy outside more. I think she'll love that. I'm going to have plants and stuff out there for her. So she can crawl around. It's going to be
a $1.99 super chat from Amber, which is a picture of a turtle.
Thank you, Amber. Oh. That's so funny. Yeah, I love Daisy. I just love when I have friends over and she just happens to be loose and she comes walking out. Everybody's like, oh, Daisy! They're like so happy to see her and like everybody loves her. She's so funny. It's a very mellow pet to have if you like pets.
Stacy wants to know, do you have a problem with chicken hawks? What do you do to prevent them from eating your chickens?
I've never had a hawk get one of my chickens, personally. And there are definitely hawks around here. You know, I say a good farm dog does help. Just having a good farm dog patrolling outside does deter a lot of predators. What I find doesn't care if you have a farm dog is an owl, a big owl at night. But of course, my chickens are put away at night. And then I've had ducks, garden ducks that were kind of just in the garden. And I'm telling you, that owl will get those garden ducks. So they don't care if the guard dog's just there barking at them. They're just like sitting there. They're so confident, those owls, which are stunningly beautiful, which I don't hate the owl for getting my duck. I'm just like, that owl is so cool and so beautiful. So, you know, I don't think my duck is more valuable than the owl. I'm just like, okay, that's nature, and shame on me. I should have put the duck away better. I blame myself. So, I mean, if you have a problem, like you have a lot of those hawks in your area, just keep your chickens in the coop. They invented coops for a reason. It's to keep your animals safe. And so that's just what you're going to have to do.
M99 says owls are going to owl. Because they're gonna eat your chickens, your owls and stuff. But yeah, you gotta leave the owls alone, leave the hawks alone, but protect your chickens with the coop.
Right.
You don't have to hurt the owls or the hawks. Just put the chickens in the coop, and a full-grown chicken. I doubt a hawk is gonna get it. And owls only come out at night, so if your chickens are in the coop at night, the owl's not gonna get them.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. So. You know, like I said, they invented coops for a reason. It's to keep their animals safe. I mean, back in the day when people truly depended on their homesteads and the food they raised and, you know, the eggs coming from their chickens, they protected them because that was such an investment to them. You know, they learned to take care of what they had. And so that's what you have to do. You have to take care of what you have.
Linda and Tony want to know that if you can hard boil your eggs right away, or if you have to wait they heard you have to wait.
Don't hard boil your eggs right away because you'll need a chisel and a hammer to get the shell off that hard boiled egg. You will be, talk about frustration. You will be so frustrated. Don't even do it. So I like to keep the eggs, I'll keep them on the counter or in the refrigerator for like 3 weeks. And then when you boil them, I could demonstrate. Let me just back up here for 1 second. I just want to, I want to show them something.
Wow, okay.
Well, I just want to wash my hands. I was touching Daisy. Okay.
You always wash your hands after you touch a reptile.
Yeah, you want to wash your hands after you touch the turtle. Okay, Scott, so there's an egg on the door. Get it.
We got a $2 super chat from Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
And what do you use to keep mice away from your feeders?
Oh, yeah. That's the problem when you have those 24 feeders, you know, when you do the 24/7 feeders. When I was in the beginning, years ago, I did do the 24/7 feeders, and that is the problem. Squirrels, mice, any little rodent, it's like a free buffet for them. So I found to feed my chicken mix that I make is so nutritious, they don't need a 24/7. And then you can just feed it in the morning and in the evening and just eliminate that feeder, unless, of course, you go away. If you go away on vacation or whatever, you know, that's a different story. Makes it easier for the pet sitter. But, you know, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, if the chickens can catch a mouse or catch a rodent, they will eat them themselves. So, but a lot of times, you know, they just can't get a hold of them. It's right here on the door. Right there. Yeah, I want to show them this. Okay, so I don't need both. Okay, so this, I always put a line, I hard-boiled eggs, and I always put a black line on it so my family and everybody knows, like, these are hard-boiled. These were older eggs, so I just want to show you how easy it is to peel this. And to peel another one that's fresh, like I said, you don't know what frustration is. Like, you will just give up and just throw those eggs outside. Or you end up making egg salad instead of instead of nice deviled eggs because you just can't peel it right. Okay, so I'm gonna clunk this and I'm gonna show you.
Hold it up though so you can see it.
I'm gonna hold on a second. So I clunk it on the table on both ends. And you know, you can tell they're easy to peel when you roll it and the shell instantly feels loose. If you roll it and that shell feels tight on that egg, it's gonna be impossible to peel it. So like I said, these are probably 3 weeks old, maybe a little older in the refrigerator. And you can see the shell. I gotta get it going. I can't do it that high, it's gonna go on the floor. I gotta just get it going. But it comes right off. It just comes like right off, no problem. You will be able to just peel it so easy. And I can't even demonstrate how hard it is. Now these are my eggs here. So like I said, you gotta make sure they're older. Like, look at, you can get it off and the egg will be perfect. You could make perfect, you know, deviled eggs with this. So just make sure weeks, not days. You got to keep them in there for weeks, not days. And what these are nice for, I love taking these, like if I go horseback riding, and like we're going to have a little snack or a lunch. And I hate peeling, hate peeling eggs, but these I don't mind. Okay, look, ta-da, done, so easy. What these are nice for is I'll peel eggs like this and I'll put them in a baggie or a little container and I'll just put the salt on them and I bring them with me. And the funny thing is, you would be surprised, people see me eating them and they want them. They want one. You'd be like, oh, it's just a boring egg. No, my friends want one. It's so funny, which of course I'm glad to give it to them. Everybody likes hard-boiled eggs.
BXman53 says that you don't feed your chickens 24/7?
No, I don't feed them 24/7. I don't have food available 24/7. And the reason being is, even with my chicken mix that I have, I was just throwing too much out there. And then I would be inside or whatever, and I'd look over. It would be my chickens, a bunch of crows, a robin, and like another bird. I just can't think of what it is right now. And they would all be in there like a group, like a big happy family eating. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Oh, I'd be like, I don't want to feed the squirrels and the other birds and the crows and everything. So it's like, I don't mind if they get a little extra piece that's left over, but they were like gorging every day. So that's when I started feeding way less. you know, and not throwing too much out there. I put enough out in the morning so they're full, and then I do it again in the evening. And that just saves money, and it doesn't attract all those other animals that you don't really want in your coop.
M99 has been talking about how chickens are helpless at night, and that during the day, the chicken will kill the rat, but at night, rats will get in there and can kill your chickens. So you got to protect them really good at night.
I've never had that problem. I've never experienced that problem at all. But I mean, how many people have rats running around? I don't really. My cat takes care of that problem. So I guess get a cat. Get a good hunting cat like Murphy. Murphy is a tiger. So, you know, the thing about a homestead and keeping animals, it's kind of like this little ecosystem you get up and running. So, like, I have my farm dogs. I have my cat, like everybody works together and then it's more successful. And especially like the bigger your homestead gets, the more that comes into play.
Neutrino says that their rats are huge.
Oh, I don't know where he lives.
Philippines.
Oh, yeah, they are. Believe me. I went to Mexico before and I heard there was big gravel, like big white gravel. And I heard like the gravel moving. Like I thought, what is that? I thought it was a dog or something, and it was a rat.
Look at that dog.
I was like, holy moly, that is huge, long and huge.
Okay then, so that could kill a chicken.
So yes, if you live in an area where the rats are that big,
we think it's a dog,
where it moves gravel when it runs. Thank God it still ran away from me though. If it ran towards me, it could chase me. I would have ran.
Neutrino says that they showed their chicken a dead rat and they screamed and ran away.
Okay, so yes, I mean, I personally think I would kill those rats if I could, maybe somehow. They don't even have a rat trap big enough. So, I mean, clearly over there you must have some solution on how to get rid of the rats, kill them or whatever. So, you know, you just have to, or just, I would build a coop with smaller piece wire so that rat couldn't get in there. You know, you just have to figure something out. Everybody has to, like, you know, we all live in different areas, so you do have to, you know, you need a tiger to kill those rats. I don't think a house cat could do it because the rat is as big as a house cat, so it's like, but you know, you just have to figure it out. So you either have to use smaller holes in the wire, including a wire bottom so the rats couldn't get in there, like build a better coop. That's what I would probably do. So you gotta just make adjustments.
Jennifer says that she can be the chicken bodyguard.
Oh, that's so funny.
Offer her services.
And you'll travel the world to do it.
What's that movie with Tina Turner, is it? And what's his face? The Bodyguard?
Oh, no, that was Whitney Houston.
Yeah, Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner, the Bodyguard.
Yeah. It's going to be Tina. Okay, so guess what? It's time to go. I go overtime every week because, I don't know, it's just so easy to talk to everybody. So.
Okay. I guess the last thing we should just say is the best thing to keep rodents and like squirrels and rats out is that metal hardware cloth.
Yes.
That is the best stuff to keep rodents out.
Right. There's different wires you can buy to keep stuff out.
Hardware cloth, it's called.
Yes. You know, you can definitely find stuff. So that's what you have to do. Just build a better coop.
Okay, well, let's just say thank you to all our super chatters.
Yes, we will.
So we got another $4.99 from Amber.
Amber, you're so nice.
And it's the pair dropping the microphone.
Oh, it's done. Because I got to go do all my farm chores, you know. I'm not just going to be like lounging around. I'm going to go outside and start doing stuff.
So we got Amber.
Amber.
A bunch of times.
Amber.
We got Linda and Tony.
John, much thanks to everybody.
That's it.
Thank you very much. And hopefully I answered some of your questions, and then we'll see you again next Sunday. Bye. Happy homesteading.